My dear teacher trainees, you are welcome back to my class, and today I'm coming with a new lesson, and to that extent I take the opportunity to present before you the lesson entitled Need and the Significance of Teaching Social Sciences. Well, the introduction of social science as a subject in school education is important for many reasons. I shall tell you. The study of social sciences is of great importance as they enlighten the learners about the global human society, their national society and culture. Further, it also delineates the natural relationships or linkages in the past as well as in the present and also help them in knowing the futuristic trends. So this knowledge helps in understanding the various problems and issues intellectually in a dispassionate and critical manner. The study of social science enables the learners to know, understand, appreciate, and internalize functional human and social values and develop proper and progressive attitudes. Friends, the teaching of social science in school education is attached with a large number of values, and this includes social learning, training in social skills, training in social standards, training in understanding social problems, training in understanding social changes, training in bringing about desirable social changes, training in developing social attitudes, as well as training in developing a sense of belonging. Although social sciences has been introduced as a subject in school education all over the world, the prevailing perception towards the subject is not so desirable. I shall tell you, the popular perception of social science is that it is a non-utility subject to begin with. And as a result, low self-esteem governs the classroom transaction process with both teachers and the students feeling disinterested in comprehending the contents. So from the initial stages of schooling, it is often suggested to students that the natural sciences are superior to the social sciences and are the domain of bright students. Therefore, there is a need to emphasize that the social sciences are essential to provide social, cultural, as well as analytical skills required to adjust to an increasingly interdependent world and to deal with political and economic realities. So there is a widespread belief that social science merely transmits information and thereby it's centered on the text which is required to be memorized for examinations. The content of these textbooks are considered to be interconnected to daily realities. In addition, social science is viewed as providing unnecessary details about the past. It is also felt that the examination paper rewards the memorization of these superfluous facts with the general conceptual understanding being largely ignored. So any effort to address the information overload in the social sciences will simultaneously have to review the current examination system. Uh, you see, the social science curriculum has hitherto emphasized on developmental issues. So these are important but not sufficient to understand the normative dimension like issues of equality, justice, and dignity in society and polity. So teaching of social science has thus been linked up to the role of an individual in contributing to his development. In view of this gap, there is a need to achieve a shift in focus from utilitarianism to egalitarianism that would address the normative concerns as mentioned. There is an urgent need to restore self-esteem to the social sciences by having themselves to address social and political issues in such a way that is to awaken in the student a real concern for social justice. Courses in history have often ignored many sections of the society and many regions of India, and it needs to be corrected. The study of history should enable the learner to understand the past, which will make them to appreciate the present and facilitate them to look at the future with a scientific look. So, however, interestingly, the Indian perception of social science as a school subject is much more favorable to both the teaching and learning community. The social science encompasses diverse concerns of society and includes a wide range of content drawn from the disciplines of history, geography, political science, economics, and sociology. The selection and organization of material into a meaningful social science curriculum enabling students to develop a critical understanding of society is therefore a challenging task. The possibilities of including new dimensions and concerns are having immense impact, especially in view of the students' own life experiences. It is important to reiterate the significance of the social sciences by not only highlighting its increasing relevance for a job in the rapidly expanding service sector, but also by pointing to its indispensability in laying the foundations for an analytical and creative mindset among the educates or students. And it is often presumed that the content pertaining to the human sciences, which include the history, geography, political science, economics, etc., cannot be labeled as scientific. It is the contention of a particular section of people, but it is necessary to recognize that the social sciences lend themselves to scientific inquiry just as much as the natural and physical sciences do. However, it is often observed that the ways in which the methods employed by social sciences are distinct to those of the natural and the physical sciences is per the reports written is per the reports of the National Curriculum Framework 2005 position paper on teaching of social sciences. Right. So the social sciences carry a normative responsibility to create and widen the popular base for human values, namely freedom, trust, mutual respect, respect for diversity, etc. So the social science teaching basically should be aimed at imbibing in a child a more and mental strength so as to provide him or her with the ability to think independently and deal with the social forces that threaten these values without losing her individuality. So, social science teaching can achieve this by promoting children's ability to take initiative to critically reflect on social issues that have a bearing on the creative coexistence between individual good and collective good. Critical reflection presupposes a comprehensive curriculum in which both teachers and general participate in generating the knowledge without any latent and manifest forces of coercion. It is through this non-coercive and participatory mode that general and teachers stain the base chance of making teaching and learning interesting as well as enjoyable. Now the question is why study social science in schools? Yes, the answer is the inclusion of social science in the curriculum right from primary to secondary classes signifies the importance of the subject and the role it plays in a student's life. So social science is incorporated in the school curriculum through a combination of subjects like history, geography, economics, and the political science in the context of India, or a combination of subjects like history, geography, cultural studies, economics, political science, sociology, psychology, and anthropology in some other countries of the world. So social science aware the subject about our understandings and the incidents that happened in the past. So it is significance to develop an international viewpoint. It is also important for the moral progress of the society. It helps to form the main social character. A study of social science makes us an efficient citizen of a democracy, and it also helps us to solve the practical problems in our daily life. It is essential for communities and organizations. It also helps the students to know how different societies are managed, structured, and governed. An average normal man seeks to live a happy democratic life to his satisfaction to himself and to his society. He is to act as a home member, as a worker, and as a citizen in the society. The base and the shipments for realizing the aim of life is nothing but education, and its outstanding function is preparation for life. It enables the man to live as a self-sufficient, useful, and healthy individual efficiently and effectively. A functional content of education is essential to give the understanding of the environment and the way of successful functioning in it. So therefore, it explains the interrelatedness of things with the historical background. It also creates a sense of values in life. It formulates desirable patterns of attitude and behavior. It creates love of life and the confidence in mankind. Social science is a core subject drawing functional material from various subject fields. So therefore, it is to be taught as a compulsory subject up to the secondary school level. So from the foregoing discussion, it can be rightly justified that social sciences be considered as a core subject for instructional purpose, at least at the school level, for four important reasons. So here I am discussing about the four important reasons, which consists of psychological reasons, educational reasons, sociological reasons, and the practical reasons. So let me start with psychological reasons to begin with. Under psychological reasons, social science has the importance of environmental awareness. So since man create his environment, his personality is best developed in an environment. His personality is best developed in an environment, and a human being responds to his environment. Besides, he seeks to understand it thoroughly and interpret it correctly. It is social studies which studies mainly his relationship with his environment. And secondly, uh, social science gives importance of knowledge behavior. Uh, if one is psychologically convinced that he is to live with others, he requires a particular type of behavior to interact and understand the interactions of others. In this regard, social studies occupies an important place in the new school curriculum because the subject begins with concrete things and deals with the substance of life for life and assimilated through learning. Second important reason which I want to focus on is educational reason. Uh, Education in general and social science in particular has three main aims, the materials, the cultural, and the social. Uh, Under material aim, generally parents have a desire to fit education with their child to earn his living and think of education is primarily a form of vocational preparation. And secondly, with regard to material aim, cultural aim, the philosopher insists on cultural rather than utilitarian aim of education. His idea of education is that it should aim at a complete and harmonious development of all the capabilities of the individual. And thirdly, in terms of social aim, a child has to play as a member of the society in which he is born. So therefore, education in general and the social science in particular must make a real contribution towards the development of the child in a social context by providing experiences which should enable the child to understand his own nature, the nature of his physical and the social environment, and his place within that environment. Education must develop the attitude and the skills essential for group life and the civic efficiency. In terms of sociological reasons, there are five specific aims. First one is development of social character. Social science in schools should help in the development of social character by drawing the child into the community and making him aware of his collective life and ideals. Second important aim under sociological reason is social awareness. Through social science education, pupils can develop a sense of social awareness. It helps eliminate antisocial behavior, develop sense of belonging to the family, the neighborhood, the community, the nation, and anti-humanity. Third aim is to bring about socialization. Socialization through social studies promises to contribute much to education. Fourth aim is study of society. A study of society relating to its achievements in the past and their effect in the present as well as its evolution constitute important content of social sciences. And the last but not the least, the aim of changes and the problems under the social reason is is to find out how man has changed his environment and adjusted himself according to his environment, right? So these help in the preparation in the production of well adjusted and well informed citizens. It enables our pupils to become efficient and effective members of the world community. The last justification for consideration of social science as a core subject in school education is the practical reasons. So under practical reasons, there are seven different aims. So let me spell out one by one. Let me start with the first one, that is practical attitude and ideals. Social studies inculcates the attitudes and ideals which make one more successful in his practical life. Therefore, the subject must be taught as compulsory subject to future citizens and produce well-informed, enlightened citizens who may promote common welfare. Second one is increasing responsibility and citizenship. With the adoption of democratic form of government in India, the task of schools in general and the social science education in particular has become increasingly greater for realization of the aim creation of responsible citizens. Third one is readjustment in nuclear family. Through social science, students are supposed to understand the merit points of joint family as it gives stability and security to home life, depending upon its members of his for his contribution towards the welfare of the group. The family live, play, and work together. Fourth aim is rapid growth in communication and transportation. There is a great need for the effective teaching of socialist science to remove completely the man-made barriers of the cultural differences, colonial and commercial rivalries, and intolerance, etc., along with physical barriers of mountains, oceans, deserts, etc. A free flow of ideas, communications, information, and interaction among the peoples of the world is very, very essential, I should say. Fifthly, increasing responsibility for democratic living as an aim under practical reason. Since democracy has been accepted as a way of life by a majority of nations of the world, the schools should provide experiences to children which may familiarize them with democratic living and with deep appreciation of the liberty enjoyed by the citizens of a nation. It is taught effectively through social studies. Last but not the least, aim under the practical reasons is the need of international understanding. Modern man is overpowered by fear and insecurity which cannot be removed unless he has faith in the basic goodness of man. Today, we need cooperation among nations, charity among groups, love amongst individuals, and justice for all. These have to be woven into the fabric of our educational thought and practice, and is best done by the study of social studies, which makes children realize the interdependence and the desirability of reciprocal goodwill. Through it, men learn to live together, to love and respect one another, to share one another's joys and sorrows, and to help one another to overcome the hurdles of life. And the last aim under practical reason is overcoming the current forces. Social interaction today has become very complex and complicated due to industrial and the technological advancements. Am I right? Through social science, we need to understand social phenomena and the laws of change much more than before, because every adult citizen is expected to participate in controlling our young boys and girls. So, in the light of the discussions made regarding the justification of considering social science as a core subject in school education, let me take the opportunity to give you some suggestive views. Please listen carefully. Social studies is to serve as core curriculum which is evolved as a part of efforts of the forward-looking educators for all young children. It is intended to provide the basic necessities to everyone to be able to understand the modern society and live effectively in it. It is intended to equip the student with the fundamental and the foundational knowledge for social living. The subject aims at enabling a child not only to adjust himself but also to improve his social, cultural, and economic environment in active cooperation with others. The subject may be considered as a tool in the hands of the artists, the social science teachers, to mold his material, the students, in accordance with the nature of the society and the child to his studio, that is inside the classrooms of the school. The National Council of Educational Research and Training (NCRT) has outlined the need for the inclusion of social science in these words. The study of social science as component of general education is of critical importance in facilitating the learner's growth into a well-informed and responsible citizen. It should aims at developing in him or her an understanding of his or her physical and social environments, both immediate and remote, in terms of time and space, and an appreciation of the cultural heritage of India and the various cultures of the world. The study of the present physical and the social environment should help him or her in developing an understanding of the interaction of man with his physical and social environment and with the institutions, which include social, economic, political, etc., through which human beings interrelate with one another and function in the society. The study should also aim at enabling him to see the present in the perspective of past environments. The study of social environment in social sciences should have three aspects, namely learning about the social environment, learning through the social environment, and learning for the social environment. So friends, regarding status of the social science as a school subject, the subject is perhaps the singular curricular area which can prove to be the most effective tool for providing education in the context of all the core components as indicated in the National Policy on Education 1986. So special care should hence be taken in designing the curriculum in social sciences so as not to overlook any of the core components. So here I'm discussing the status of social sciences with special reference to the different levels of school education. So let me start with pre-primary stage. Although pre-primary education naturally doesn't deal with the study of social sciences, social development of the child is as a major objective to be achieved at this stage of education. So to realize this objective, a variety of activities and programs are directed at providing ample opportunities for a child to interact with other children and with his physical and natural environment. So education at this stage aims at, along with other things, developing in the child desirable social attitudes and manners which would encourage him for healthy social participation and sensitize him to rights and the privileges of others. So the child is encouraged for independence, dependability, and self-expression. At the primary seniors primary stage, starting from class 1 up to class 5, in grade 1 and 2, the child should be introduced to the environment as a whole without making any clear-cut distinction between natural and social elements that go into its making under the branch name of environmental studies. And again, in grade 3rd to 5th, uh, while the environmental focus should continue, the physical and the social aspects of the environment should be introduced into social studies as a broad and a composite area of study parallel to the general science. So at this stage, the subject should widen the child's mental horizon from his or her home, school, and neighborhood to the state, country, and the world. So stories and narrations about major aspects of our cultural heritage and the great personalities, events and developments that have acted as major influences in shaping the life of men in India and elsewhere may also be a part of the curriculum. And coming to upper primary stage, I mean from class 6 to 8, at this stage, the subjects should comprise the study of history, geography, civics, and contemporary issues and problems. The learner should be initiated into the study of India's past in all its major aspects, such as social, cultural, and scientific development. He or she should also be helped to appreciate diversities in way of living and the interdependence of various regions of India and the world. He or she should know the civic institutions and understand contemporary social and economic conditions and problems, social skills and the civic competencies, and a national perspective would thus equip him or her to participate in the tasks of social and economic reconstruction. And finally, at the secondary stage, The study of social sciences should comprise the elements of history, geography, political science, and economics to promote an understanding of contemporary India. Studies should be introduced to the stages of development of human civilization and to the historical forces and the factors that have shaped the modern and the contemporary world, and their understanding of contemporary historical perspective of India's heritage and the struggle for freedom should be enhanced. The other social sciences subjects should help them understanding Indian society, polity, and economy, and the social, economic, political challenges facing the country. The subject should also develop his or her understanding of the contemporary world problems and of India's role in relation to problems like world peace and international cooperation, decolonization, and the safeguarding of human rights, and so on. So finally, to let me spell out the considerations of social sciences in the national curriculum framework of the country. Uh, National curriculum framework gives recognition of disciplinary markers, study from perspective of marginal groups, gender justice, to function textbooks of social sciences, cross-disciplinary approaches with reference to the national perspective, balancing the local Indian history to be taught in the schools instead of the work civics. The term political science be used. Health of children and those related to social aspects of changes and developments occurring in them are to be taken into consideration, and that the concept of human rights and the universal values be taught in social science in schools. So before concluding the lesson, let me spell out a conclusion. Uh, Independent work by learners through challenging assignments and project work should be encouraged. That should be introduced to the method of geography through practical work. Group activities such as organizing youth parliament, seminars, and discussions should be increasingly used to encourage the learners' participation. The study of newspapers and the use of newspaper clippings in teaching learning process are of particular importance in promoting an understanding of the contemporary events and the problems. The study of economic activities, institutions, and the problems should be used to promote economic literacy among the learners. Regarding the status of social studies, like a constitution, the school curriculum of a country reflect the ethos of this country. As many education commission points out, there is a need to transform education so as to relate it to life, the needs and the aspirations of the people, and to make it an instrument of social change. For this purpose, the curriculum in social science and the social studies is intended for the awakening of social consciousness, the development of democratic values, and a feeling of social justice and a national integration. Social studies is a practical subject with a practical bias. It lays emphasis not only on practical knowledge but also on right way. No wonder, therefore, social science forms an integral part of the school curriculum, which is concerned as national integration, social justice, productivity, modernization of the society, and cultivation of moral and spiritual values. So with this, let me say thank you. Thank you very much.